Shimano E-Tube project, what exactly is it and why is it important for Shimano e-mountain bike users? And of course, how do you use it? So today then, let's have a look how to fully customize your Shimano e-mountain bike. Now we're in a car park, classic place to talk about apps, and we are joined by Pete from Shimano and Madison to talk us through exactly what Shimano E-Tube project is. Pete, the first question is actually, what is Shimano E-Tube project?
E-Tube project is the platform that Shimano use to run all of their electronic components from.
Now Pete, what I do know is that E-Tube allows me to fully customize not only my Shimano Steps e-mountain bike, but any step system. But the question is what do you do with it and where do you get it from?
So it's really easily downloaded from the App Store to any mobile device or tablet.
Right. Well, actually, that's exactly what I've done. I actually downloaded it onto my iPhone.
Perfect.
So you're gonna have to tell me what I do with it next.
Well, now you've got it downloaded, we can use the smartphone to use a Bluetooth low energy connection to connect up to the system.
So I can do it in the woods. And I think the first thing to say is, do you actually do this on the trail or do you do it in a car park? Where
the reason we haven't set off to go for a ride yet, Steve, is we want to do this somewhere where we have a decent phone reception and you know, a stable environment, not somewhere that's going to get muddy and wet and, you know, causes a problem.
Now I have downloaded the E-Tube app onto my phone, free of charge. I've opened the first screen and it's come up on my phone. Now what I need is guidance to take me through this system because I have not actually read the manual. That's where Pete comes in. Pete, take it away.
So if we boot the app up, or load the app, what it will do first is have a quick think about whether it's up to date. So when it first turns on, we'll have a short moment while it just checks that all the information that we're using is current and up to date. So we're happy that we're on the latest version, and it now brings us to the front screen where we can move from. So now we've got the app loaded on the phone. We need to make sure the bike's powered up, and we need to make sure the bike's also got a full battery on it.
Done that.
Awesome.
Next stage?
Next stage. Using the button on the bottom of the display, we can press and hold until the setting menu appears on the screen. So I've just kept holding that button until it comes on.
So it's come up with clear, clock and Bluetooth LE. Okay, so what do I do now?
So now we're in the setting menu, Steve. Yeah. If you scroll down on the left there, you can see that we've got a couple of Bluetooth low energy connections. Now, Bluetooth low energy is what we pair up to the phone with.
So that's what LE means?
LE, yeah.
What does ANT mean?
ANT is Garmin's protocol, so you can use the ANT Plus connection to communicate with ANT Plus compatible devices.
Okay, right, so we've got Bluetooth LE and ANT. What's next?
So we want Bluetooth LE on its own, so if you go back up one, now you confirm the one you want to choose with the button that you use to go into the menu.
Boom.
And it says start, so if I have the app ready to go, we can press start on the bike, and that will now be broadcasting a Bluetooth low energy connection, which is what we've got here. So we select that button, bingo, we found an SCE 8000, which is what we've got on the bike here.
Right, okay.
So if we select that unit, the two will communicate, the Shimano Steps screen will display on the bike, and the message that we get on the screen to begin with, on the first time of connection, is it asks us whether we want to change the pass key for our unit on our bike. Now, you've obviously never connected to this before now.
Obviously.
And never changed it.
Obviously.
You don't have to.
Until today.
Until today. You don't have to change it. You don't have to make a change to that.
Let's not do the changes, Pete.
So we just press the cross and we can leave it as the factory preset of 6 zeros.
Suits me fine.
So now the E-Tube app has recognised the units on the bike. It takes us to this front screen. Now we've got a couple of options here. We've got customization at the top. We've then got updatable firmware in the middle there, and then we've got a preset function down the bottom. Okay, to move forward from.
Right.
I just want to show you a quick check to make sure that you're aware of it. If you go to the menu in the top right hand corner, in this little symbol here, we have a few things that are useful to us. First of all, it tells us immediately what our battery status is. So a useful thing to check is the unit list. Now, if I go to unit list, it tells us all the bits that connected up to the bike. So we have a DUE 8000, which is our motor, our engine. We have an SCE 8000, which is our screen. And then we have an SW E6000 for assist on the left-hand side there.
So that's the switch.
That's the switch that's going to change us through the modes.
Right.
Now, it says unconnected in a couple of brackets down here. That's if we had other units connected to do the IT rear shifting, for example.
Right, okay. That's the electronic shifting from Shimano.
Electronic shifting.
Yeah.
The middle function on the screen, the update firmware function, is something that you will come across in using the app. If we just select it for the minute.
And wait.
And wait a moment.
I haven't got time to wait.
Well, you've got to be patient, Steve.
Right.
This is why we're doing this in the car park and not out on the trail. This is something we want to do when we've got the time to do it rather than rushing it.
Okay, so you've got the motor, you've got the switch, and you've got the display.
Exactly. All of them are telling us that the version of firmware that they are on is the latest. There's no updates available.
That kind of hints that I've obviously been doing it before.
Well, you might have been, yeah. You might have inadvertently updated it yourself. Or I might have come and had a quick go for you the other day.
Which is the latter, I can assure you.
So it's important to make sure that all of our products ideally are on the latest version of the update, because if you're trying to customize a setting that is a new setting, it may be that before you can actually access that customization, you need to update the firmware on the product to access it.
So the good news here is that I'm fully updated on my firmware, so now we can go diving into customization, right?
Absolutely.
Great! This is actually really quite simple. Now I'm in the customized setting and I can see I've got boost, trail and eco. I'm in a low setting for boost. I can actually put that up to medium or high. And then they got trail setting and I'm in low for trail. Again, you can put it up to medium or high. Do you know what? I think I want to be in maximum for boost because I only really use boost for really, really steep climbs. And in trail, I actually use trail mode a lot of the time on my e-mountain bike. So I'm thinking to stick that in a medium setting rather than on low. Obviously that's going to have an impact on my battery life as well though, right?
Yeah, and also the way the bike rides.
Yeah. So now I'm going to have a far more hectic delivery of power in boost and a slightly more giving delivery of power in trail mode as well.
Yeah, it's quite good if you do make changes to go back to, like, dynamic will be where everyone starts from. So if you want to know where you were before, you can always go back to dynamic, review how that was, and then, you know, base your changes made on.
I think it comes down to the type of riding you do. If you're doing a day out where you're doing loads of downhill runs followed by climbs, if you're doing a load of technical climbing, I think you need that extra power in boost mode.
Yeah, yeah.
However, if you're on a massive day out in the mountains and you want to do, say, 60, 70K, you're probably best backing that all off. What about the display? I mean, there's loads of different things on the screen there.
Well, if we go to the next setting down in the menu, which is the display setting, just select that, you'll see just how many different things there are that we can manipulate. If we scroll down here, there are a lot of different bits that we can turn on and off and change what they show us. Now, in the last video, we were trying to look at, you know, cadence affecting the way your Shimano Steps system
I'll leave the
performs.
link to that video just underneath down here.
If we want to select like just that information to be displayed and turn some of the other stuff off that we don't want to look at, we can do that on here. So we can turn it on or off, simplify what it shows us, or, you know, give us all the bells and whistles.
Because really, I think what I use most of the time is such things as how much battery I got left, my cadence, and my speed. I think those are the main things I use.
Well, we can customize it to just display you that information.
Let's try that then.
So if we go up from the top, one of the major things that people, you know, want to do is whether they want to be in kilometers or miles. And you can simply flick between the two. If we have the display switch over, these are all the different things that we can show. So if I select that last one there, we can have all of these displayed. Now you're just telling me that, you know, you're not bothered about maximum speed, traveling time, average speed, current time. Is that useful, or are you just going to wear your Garmin watch all the time?
Yeah, probably use my watch.
Yeah, so if we can then just have, the only thing that we have to scroll through to find is that cadence for you.
Right, okay.
So that's the only thing you need to worry about.
There she is right there.
Yeah.
You've got a beep setting down here as well.
Yeah, so if you want to scroll through those switches, sometimes it's hard to tell where you've moved through the menu, or if we turn the bike on and off, there's an audible kind of indicator to let us know it's come on.
Yeah.
You've got that turned off because you know you're happy turning it on and off.
Yeah,
but while you're learning,
beep, it's like a camera, right?
It is exactly.
When you use a camera, do you go deep when you focus or not?
Yeah. So you can turn that on and off.
Yeah. There's a Shimano user there, Pete.
He's doing all right, isn't he?
Yeah, totally. Can I just have a quick look at that?
Yeah, of course.
So Oh wow, so you've got brightness, language.
Yeah.
How many languages have you got on here?
Don't change that.
How many languages actually there is it on here?
There's quite a few, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know
Is there
exactly. Possibly not.
Dim Cymraeg. Wow, that's amazing, right? You can have it as simple or as complex as you want.
Absolutely.
Easy, easy. I didn't actually realise how easy it was to change that.
I think it's easier doing it through the app than it is trying to manipulate it through the menu on the bike.
So there you go, so much easier than reading the manual, Pete. Brightness then, does that affect how much battery you use on your bike?
It's not going to have a meaningful effect on the battery range.
Why would you change the brightness then?
Well, say you're riding it at night, for example, and you've got this display in front of you. You don't want that fire in your face. You want to be able to see down.
As well, right?
Yeah, so you can turn that right down and stop it, you know,
He's
glaring up
full
at
of all
you.
these useful hints, isn't he?
So now we've completely finished customising your bike the way you want it.
Yep.
The most important thing you need to do at the end of using the app is in the top right-hand corner where the menu is, where we can go back and change what we're manipulating.
Save settings.
You need to disconnect Bluetooth Low Energy.
Right.
Until you disconnect from the bike will assume you're still connected to it.
Right, okay. And there you can see it's now come.
The bike's come back on, the Shimano Steps logo has disappeared. Now, it's really important to do that, and this is part of why we need to do it here rather than out in the woods while we're using it.
What would happen if I hadn't disconnected it?
Well, say hypothetically someone rings you while you're doing it and you walk off and the connection drops out because Bluetooth does have a limited range.
Yeah.
It is very possible the bike then won't function correctly because it still thinks it's connected to the app.
That's not good.
It's easily rectifiable
if
you remove the battery power from the system and reset it.
Yeah.
But of course, if you've not got your keys or aren't able to do that, not the easiest thing. So the best thing to do is do it while you've got the time and patience.
Yeah.
Maybe even just turn off your mobile data and just use Wi-Fi to do the connection.
Don't take the call.
Don't take the call, don't have any distractions.
So there you go, one of the most important points about E-Tube app. Don't forget to disconnect at the end of it. I think we've covered pretty much all right.
We have. The only thing I'd like to add is just if you do have a problem, say the wireless... Unlikely, but if it doesn't go as smoothly as the way we've demonstrated here, please just take it back to a dealer. Anyone who deals with Shimano Steps bikes will be able to help you out. They can make a hardwired connection to the system.
Whoa, hardwire? What do you mean hardwire?
Well, today we've used a Bluetooth Low Energy wireless connection to communicate with the bike. But should that not be working for you for any reason, whether it be, you know, just you've missed a step or whatever, any Shimano dealer will be able to connect to the system via...
Like any Shimano dealer?
Yeah, anyone who deals with Shimano...
What, in the world?
Yeah, across the board.
Right.
There's a tool that you can use to connect to the bike, still using E-Tube projects as a platform, but it means that they can reset things like the wireless connection and make other changes that you can't do through the app.
Will that shop actually be able to tell you loads of other things as well, which you can't get on the app, such things as battery life or something like that?
Yeah, by hardwiring you can produce what's called a unit log acquisition. Now this actually...
Don't forget the unit log acquisition.
This gives you a snapshot of the condition of the bike at that moment in time. So it tells us battery, you know, quality, number of cycles it's been doing, the range the motor's done, you know, the overall distance it's travelled, things like that. So
Crikey, have you actually come across any motors that have done an insane amount of distance?
I've seen a few that have been, interestingly, on some of the commuter hybrid bikes, surprisingly. You know, people using them day in, day out as their mode of transport, they quickly clock up a huge amount of
because these batteries are good for 1,000 charges, right?
So with 1,000 charges, we're expecting we guarantee them for no significant power loss.
Right.
And that means that...
That's like an insane amount of miles. Or kilometres.
Well, I don't know what do you reckon you're getting out of your engine at the moment? Or on one charge, like mileage wise?
I don't know about mileage. I pretty much go on altitude rather than miles. You're talking like, you know, 3,500 feet of climbing.
Okay, so that's probably across, say, 25, 30 miles, maybe?
Yeah, about 20 miles,
Let's say 20 miles being conservative.
Yeah.
So that 1,000 charge cycles, after you've done those, you're going to have done a hell of a lot of mileage on the bike.
Pete, thanks so much for helping us out and showing us around the E-Tube app. In the meantime, if you want to check out the introduction to Shimano Steps, we did a video with Pete just down by here. If you want to move away from Shimano, we've done a video on mission control from Specialized over here. Let us know your thoughts, any questions surrounding Shimano Steps or E-Tube or anything Shimano related. Let us know. In the meantime, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to EMBN by clicking on the globe just up here.